Let's find out what nap traders are doing here. Gemma Dale joining us now. Hi, Gemma.
How you doing?
Welcome back to the program. Has it been busy out there?
It's pretty quiet. I was just looking at your chart showing that retail flows held up relatively well through this year for the S&P 500. It's not true here, right? It's changed a lot. This year's been very subdued relative to the last 2 years. Investors have been really cautious, and I think that's super healthy, right? They read it fairly well. People have been just not super confident about this environment, and they've been sitting. So cash is at extremely high, record upon record levels. It just grows and grows and grows, partly because you can actually get a return on your cash now, but partly because there's just no enthusiasm, there's just no excitement. Also, everyone learned that, you know, you should be waiting for a 30% sell-off before you throw yourself into the market, right?
What's going on with the iron ore miners? Because iron ore's off to the races. Again,
that's it, right? That's all it is right now.
I described it in the newsletter this week as a safe haven. It seems every time the market looks like it's going to fall over, iron ore comes to the rescue. What's nabtrade customers up to when it comes to the iron ore majors?
They are trimming hard into this rally, trimming really, really hard. Just having a look at Fortescue going, oh, there'll be a few people disappointed from selling yesterday. But that's okay. They've been holding on to so much of it, right? And it's been traded so actively, it's not funny. So Fortescue is your trader's favourite. They've loved it, and they've certainly got plenty to work with at the moment. BHP, we've just seen so much buying sort of a few months ago, so they're trimming hard now. Rio's like, it's a long way down the list. It's nowhere near like those top two, but they're getting rid of that too, right?
Alrighty.
Why not? Take some off the table when you can.
What about in the lithium space? We had a pretty influential note coming out from Goldman Sachs this week. Allkem was a buy. I think it was not so for all of the lithium players that were listed. Did you see any sort of a noticeable impact on any of those names?
Is this the same Goldman that said back in
like
April?
Yeah, same one.
It's definitely overpriced. You should get out. Price falls 20%. Our guys absolutely piled in at that time and have been piling in for most of the year. Look, it's a bit mixed actually. It's surprising. You know, when it's rallying hard, our guys are a bit confused about lithium, I think. You know, there's a lot of activity there. It's run so hard, but every time they take a bit off the table, it keeps running, and then they get disappointed and have to buy back in. Yeah. So it's mixed, but it's still, there's a lot of volume.
Well, Goldman said buy Allkem. It said sell core lithium. Did you have buyers or sellers for core and Allkem?
Bit of both.
Okay.
Nothing unusual. Certainly people are not following Goldman's advice, that's for very sure. They very much liked their advice last time, gave them a good buying opportunity.
Can we stick in the material space at the moment? The China reopening story has been a big one over the past month and a bit. Outside of iron ore and lithium and other names, so anything that's been of interest when it comes to those cyclical players that could go and benefit from that reopening?
The only thing that's really obvious is South 32, which we don't see very often, and that's a big sell at the moment. So that's a big hard sell currently. Honestly, it's such a long list of material plays. It's not funny, and it's changing daily, and the concentration is so extraordinary. Like when you look at what's happening, it's kind of iron ore majors, lithium plays, long list of other material stuff. There's a bit of Woodside in there. That's always, you know, that's been happening. It's very hard selling of Whitehaven at the moment. Very hard. Why not? You know, they've been selling that all year too, though, right? Yeah. And then get disappointed because it keeps going. So a lot of selling of Whitehaven, and then, you know, not much else.
We had a guest on earlier talking about the banks and saying, upside for the banks in 2023. What's the action been on the platform this week?
The tricky thing with banks is people have got so much. Their holdings are massive, and they were doing so much buying in 2020. You know, they bought 3 of the big 4 so cheaply, down at that sort of $15, $16 range. They've done extremely well out of it. They've trimmed here and there. It's hard for them to get excited about the banks. They don't see heaps of upside, but they're definitely not cheap enough to buy by our guys' standards. They are definitely selling CBA. Very hard sell, 97% yesterday, getting out $108. Get out. We've seen this before. So they're getting out of CBA. The others are pretty mixed, very large volumes with Westpac in particular, but just kind of moving around.
Cool.
Offloading the blue chips. What's going on in the ETF universe at the moment? It hasn't been getting a lot of attention, but no ETFs. Is there still a lot of popularity?
it's always the ASX 200. I do get these questions often when I'm on panels or I'm talking to people, what about the niche plays in ETFs? I'm like, well, there's no interest at all, right? That's not where people want to go. They just want the big indices, and they will start with the ASX 200, and then they will move into the S&P 500 or the Nasdaq. But you're talking VAS specifically, huge gap. And then a couple of the others, and it's the down days. If there is a down day, we see huge buying in the ASX 200. They know what to do there.
Gemma, last week you introduced me to Figs.
Yes.
The scrubs company.
I know.
The colorful scrubs company. Do you know what we're talking about?
Absolutely
You're about
not.
to learn. It's a US listed company. What did anything significantly change this week in interest?
I love this. So for Scotty's benefit, they sell scrubs, but pretty ones that are slightly
like
better
purple,
cut
pink.
and have different colours. And that's what they do. And it listed, and it was this big dramatic thing, and then it's fallen 70%. But everyone really liked it last year when the medical fraternity...
But nabtraders, can you believe it?
Well, someone has found this thing and they love it. And the money going through it is extraordinary. For retail investors, these are extremely large trades, but mixed. Very large, active trading in scrubs. And then also NEO, which I love because it's like the Chinese Tesla for anyone who's missed it. Huge trade sizes going through that, like absolutely massive, but also mixed. More than Tesla. Like
Identify yourself.
Yeah, this is fascinating, right? We love it though. Please buy more interesting things so we've got something to talk about.
Gemma, fantastic chat as always. Make sure you enjoy your weekend. We'll catch up soon.
Pleasure,
Thanks,
guys.
Gemma.
Thank you.